In Parkinson's disease, physical therapy and exercises are not optional. It is a lifestyle. So my patients get at least twice yearly physical therapy. And depending on whether their insurance covers it or not, we might actually offer more physical therapy because some patients will need that to get them out of their, rut. Right? Some patients really need that coaxing and a little bit of, nudging to get them to exercise. But lifestyle change with exercise is absolutely important for Parkinson's disease. And in fact, that is the only thing. Exercise at a certain amount of intensity is the only thing that really helps slow down the disease. We have seen that over the last 10 to 15 years or so. So the focus has been on this because there is so much of data out there that suggests that patients who are outdoorsy, actively moving their body in general, not because of the disease, but also as part of their lifestyle, and patients who maintain a certain amount of weight actually do very well overall compared to patients who are sedentary. So we have tried to implement that in different ways. One is to start with physical therapy, get them to move a little bit more, and oftentimes what we do is we give them medication, have them feel the effect of the medication, which is levodopa usually, and then smoothen them out so that they get a little bit more nimble. Now they get that energy to work out, right? Then we'll say, okay, after taking the medication about an hour later, this is the best time for you to actually go and work out. So schedule your physical therapy that way. So in Parkinson's disease, what happens is because you lack the movements, the natural movements, people tend to kind of power down generally, and you can even see the way Parkinson's disease patients sit they kind of curl up into a tiny space. We have seen that over time, we have seen that these patients have a slightly different representation of the world in their mind. So for us, a room is this big, but for patients with Parkinson's disease, their mental image of the room gets smaller. Literally, it gets smaller. This is also one of the reasons why their handwriting gets smaller, and we also see that they don't use the entire space on the page provided for them to write. This also impacts their driving, their ability to park in a small space, their ability to walk in a small space. All that stuff is actually seen. This research has been taken and applied into physical therapy world. So since movements get smaller, we want to make them move bigger. So that is the whole principle of making them move bigger. So the big therapy, which is now part of the LSVT therapy, is basically dependent on that principle. Make them move big. So when they are doing physical exercises, they're making them make big movements with their whole body. So walking with larger strides, sitting down, in a fashion that spreads your center of gravity a little bit, and also, making your arms move much further than what you would do in a typical gym exercise would be part of that as well.
So the theory behind why exercise works in Parkinson's disease is basically reinforcement or stimulation. So when you move your body, you're using your brain to send those signals to your body to get it to move, and that feedback re-stimulates the brain. So you want to maintain, so it's like the exercise builds up the strength in your body, you're also reinforcing those signaling pathways in your brain. They, a lot of times with therapies that are out for Parkinson's disease, will enforce big movements. And what that really is doing is it's retraining your body to make big movements again, because those types of movements are oftentimes lost in people that develop Parkinson's disease, and they start to move slower, they move smaller, and the automatic processes just don't work as well. So you have to bring a lot of those movements into your conscious mind and reinforce to get back to a normal size. So you move big in order to move at a regular size. Exercise in Parkinson's disease, people often ask me, what's the best one? Is it lifting weights? Is it aerobic exercise? And they've studied all sorts of different types of movements. Bike riding, walking, tai chi, dancing, all sorts of different things. And the take home of all these studies is movement is good. So whatever exercise you'll do, whatever you do to keep your interest, to keep you active, that's what's right for you. So in Parkinson's disease, another symptom oftentimes will be a more quiet voice or a hoarse voice. And that's just a component of slowing down of movements, and again, movements not being as big as they once were. There is a specific speech therapy that exists, and there's a few different programs that are out there to try to improve the volume of the voice, as well as help with swallowing issues that may develop as well. So we'll oftentimes get help from our speech therapist colleagues that do specific types of training for Parkinson's disease to improve the volume. There's also some groups out there that help with singing and different support groups, and that can also help reinforce increasing the activity or increasing the volume of the voice to, again, get you kind of back to a normal phase where you were previously.